Take a look at me real quick. Closer. Closer. A little bit closer. When you look at this face, do you see somebody with a high IQ? Well, today we're going to find out because I'm taking the bright side 9 riddles only people with high IQ can solve test. So let's see how we do. The goal, of course, is to pass and not fail, as I haven't done too much in the past. Here we go.
Your task is the following. Empty 1 jar of milk and 1 jar of water into a bowl. Oh wait, you couldn't think this would be that simple. There are several conditions.
Of course.
You must be able to differentiate between the milk and the water.
Easy.
You can separate the milk from the water. And finally, you aren't allowed to use any kinds of dividers to keep these two liquids apart.
So what I've learned from my long time on Earth is to take things literally at face value. And so what they're telling me is to empty 1 jar of milk separately and then 1 jar of water into a bowl, meaning they both don't need to go into the bowl. Because the way that they phrase that doesn't necessarily mean that both need to go into the bowl. So I'm going to stick with that. Let's do it.
In fact, all you need to do is to pour the water into the bowl first and freeze it. And after that, just add the milk.
Why are they acting like that's such an easy thing to do? That requires at least 2 hours for the water to freeze before you could even pour the milk on. That also defeats the purpose of the question, because water then turns into ice and it's no longer water, right? I like my idea better. I think it's more intuitive. But whatever, 0 for 1. Here we go.
He's a magician famous for the tricks he performs. One of such tricks is staying under the water for 10 minutes. However, one day, John Smart challenges the magician, saying that he will stay under the water for 2 minutes longer. He accepts the bet and promises John to give him $5,000 if he does beat the record. All in all, John wins and gets his money. How does he manage to do this?
Just because they're underwater doesn't mean that they're holding their breath. And so yes, he can be under for 10 minutes, but John just has to be underwater for 12 minutes, which, let's be honest, we've all done. Maybe he's taking a bath for 12 minutes. Maybe he's in a public pool, in a lake, in a sauna, you name it. And so I think that's the technicality, and I think that's how he manages to do it.
Well, to tell you the truth, John was cheating just a bit. He took a glass, filled it with water, and held it over his head for 12 minutes.
Oh my gosh, you're not underwater. This is the issue with this. You're under a glass. So I get what they're trying to do here, but they're wrong. This is so dumb. I don't know why I continue taking these quizzes. 0 for 2.
Sam Princeton is
Good
so
name.
unhappy with his life, so frustrated with his boss picking at him, and so angry with himself for being too weak to leave his job and start a new life, that he shoots himself right between his eyes in the bathroom. The bullets are real. The revolver is real as well. However, in just a second, Sam goes out of the bathroom alive and unharmed. How is it possible?
So he shoots himself in between the eyes. So I think he's looking in the mirror. So he shoots the mirror because he is looking at himself, and he does believe he's shooting himself in the eyes, but he's actually shooting glass, or whatever mirrors are made out of. But since my previous 2 first guesses failed, rip, there must be something else. So maybe he's a ghost. Maybe he did this. And then he did this. And so when you shoot in between the eyes, it goes right past. I don't know. I'm going to stick with my first answer.
The thing is that Sam didn't shoot at his real self. He shot his reflection in the mirror.
1 for 3.
In the city where people are keen on brain teasers and riddles, 4% of people don't list their phone numbers. So, if we select 40 random people from the phone directory, how many of them will have unlisted numbers?
So if 4% of people don't list their number, and we take a sample of 40, then it's logical to say that 1.6 people or 2 people will have unlisted numbers. I'm going to say 40.
But it's 0%. If the numbers of these 40 people are in the phone directory, they are already listed by default.
Okay, touche. That's good. There's nothing I could do there. Well, I could have been smarter, but I'm not. I'm dumb. And so I'm 1 for 4. All right?
You have 7 guests at your birthday party, and you've got to figure out how to cut your round birthday cake only 3 times to make 8 equal-sized slices.
This is going to require the pain app. Okay, so I have 3 cuts. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I need 8. Wait, I know the answer. So you cut with the knife down the center. So that's 1 cut. but you keep the knife. So this is still the first cut, and you bring it around here and then finish the first cut. 1, lift the knife up. 2, lift the knife up. 3, and now you have 8 perfect slices, because they never said that a cut needs to just be one linear line. So the answer is that. It has to be.
Well, first off, you have to cut vertically right down the middle of the cake to make 2 equal pieces. Do the same thing, but this time horizontally to make 4 slices. Your third and final cut should be laterally across the cake, which will quickly turn your 4 slices into 8. So,
I like mine better, because then there's going to be people who are getting like different parts of the cake. Some people are getting the top with all like the front-loaded icing, and then some people are getting like the bottom, which might be slightly undercooked, a little softer, maybe a different flavor. My answer, once again, is better. So technically I got it wrong, and I'm 1 for 5, but I really should be like 4 for 5.
a blind man had been dreaming of being able to see again for many years. After some time, his doctor confirmed that he could have an operation that would solve his problem. The man couldn't be happier. The surgery went well, and the man took the train to go home. The doctor allowed him to take his bandages off 3 hours after the operation. So the man was so impatient that he did this while still on the train. But as soon as he finished, he committed a jumping off the train. His operation was successful. So why did he do this?
He got unblinded. He saw all of Mr. Beast's cameramen filming him, and he was like, what is going on? No, I mean, I don't know. It could be anything. Like, maybe he just didn't like the way he looks. The operation was successful because he's technically not blind anymore, right? I mean, you're dead. You're not blind.
In fact, it was a tragic coincidence. When the man opened his bandages, the train was going through a dark tunnel. That's why the man thought he was still blind and
Does this train not have lights on it? Have you ever been on a train that's completely pitch black? That doesn't exist. That surely goes against like standards and practices for the automobile and locomotive industry. Whatever. 3 more.
Your friend asks you for a favor and gives you $5 asking you to buy something to eat,
That's way more than $5.
something to feed his cow,
That's $500.
and something to plant in his garden. At the same time, you're allowed to buy just one thing. What are you going to buy?
Milk.
To eat?
If I have $5 and I get milk, I can eat milk because I can let it ruminate until it becomes fungus, and then that's cheese, which would then qualify as eating. I could drink it directly. I could feed it to the cow because cows drink milk. And then I could plant with milk because everybody likes milk. Plants grow with milk. I was originally going to say water, which now that I'm thinking might be the right answer because you could eat water, just freeze it, and then you're eating ice because you don't drink ice. So let's switch it from milk to water. Final answer.
You can go and buy a watermelon. You can eat it, you can drink it, you can feed the cow with the rinds, and as for the watermelon seeds, you can easily plant them in the garden.
Water is a 1,000,000 times better answer. I guess you can't plant water. All right, I'm dumb. I don't know. 1 for 7.
Once a king sentenced a man to death for a crime he had committed.
Good.
However, the king was a kind man, so he allowed the man to choose the way he would prefer to die.
So kind.
But the man was clever and managed to say something that saved him from the capital punishment. Which death did he choose?
He probably said something like, I want to die in harmony with you. Like, I want to, shoot each other simultaneously. And then the king's like, wait a second. Or maybe he said, I want to die a natural death. So I choose to live out my normal life expectancy. Let's go with that.
Well, being a clever man, the culprit chose to die of old age.
Lock it in, baby. 2 for 8.
Riddle number 9.
Final one.
2 men are standing on the edge of an abyss on a wood board. One of them is holding a gun and wants to shoot the other one, but if the second guy falls down, the first one will fall into the abyss. Is there a possible way for one of them to survive? Who will actually die?
First of all, we don't know how high the cliff is. This could be like a 2-foot cliff and he could be falling into water. All that blue could be water. Why are we assuming that he's in the sky and that he's falling 500 feet to his death? I think that it's shallow water beneath him and he's about 2 to 3 feet elevated. And it could also be a fake gun. But let's assume it's real. He could just easily fall and then land.
The answers to this riddle are too diverse and everyone just thinks differently. So, what is your idea?
This is the second time a Brightside quiz doesn't give me the final answer, so I'm going to accept that my answer is correct. 3 for 9, failing grade. As always, watch this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.